game last week and moving into now getting ready for New England, just the growth from the second game of the season to we're preparing for the last game of the season. One of the players that stood out, and he didn't even play last week, was Raekwon McMillan. His leadership, I think, he's improved as a leader. Again, I think he probably had those leadership qualities before I ever met him, but it's improved there. I think in terms of some of the younger guys, Christian Wilkins, in terms of how his play has improved over the year, and now we're starting to see the fruits of his labor in terms of what he's been working on at practice. That's the thing that's most telling for me. You talk about somebody like Montre, where we're going to need his best this week because of who we're going against in terms of New England and all the guys they have, but how his tackling has improved. So those are things that, you start to feel happy for those guys because they work so hard at it, and I've seen how they work at it. And there's other guys, too. I can't mention everybody, but just those are things that stand out because as we're game planning for New England, I know that we're going to need those things to happen because we're going to have to tackle those guys. We're going to have to cover those guys. We're going to have to use our hands up front because they're so skilled and they're so physical. So, that's the stuff that's going through my mind right now, currently.
About Vince Beagle in the same sense.
Same thing. I think, Vince's his athletic ability, his work ethic. I knew him a little bit from when I was with Green Bay, and I just think that his improvement over the year has been good. And what he's going to be able to do this week, we're going to need his length, because they got good guys on the edge there, whether it's the tackles or the tight ends. We're going to need his physicality in the run game because, Michel's one of the best backs in the league, and, he's seeing the field better than I've ever seen him do it. And just in terms of you combine how his vision's grown, his ability to make people miss in the hole. This guy's developed into a very dynamic back. I know he had a lot of success last year. But I'm just seeing an improvement from a young player and how he's improved in terms of, the vision is the thing that sticks out to me. I think he's seeing everything. You misfit, he's going to find you. So, we're definitely going to need Beagle and those guys in that terms to help us with that, setting the edge and making sure we play with patience on the edge.
What's a coaching point maybe that Wilkins has really embraced that has allowed him to, from my eyes, be more disruptive?
Mm-hmm. Well, I've told y'all every week when y'all ask me about him, what I say to him every day until he probably gets sick of it is, since I met him, your hands had to improve, and his hands have improved. So getting his hands in front of his eyes, because once you do that, you're able to control the blocker. To me, that's what you're looking for, in terms of block destruction up front. You got to be able to control the blocker by getting your hands on him. Guys that play, like this week, if we try to play with our shoulders against New England, they'll just run us out of there and we'll be 5 yards down the field. So we got to play with our hands, get our hands in front of our eyes, control the blockers, play with some good pad level in order to, you got Shaq Mason, you got Thuney, all those guys. If you don't play with your hands in front of your eyes, you're going to have trouble. You're going to have trouble.
Patrick, I want to ask you about defending Julian Edelman.
Mm-hmm.
You know he's going to get his targets.
Mm-hmm.
You know he's going to get the ball in crucial situations. Mm-hmm. With knowing all of that, what's the challenge there?
The biggest challenge for me, and it's always been since I've known him, is how tough this man is. He's arguably, one of the toughest players in the NFL. Pound for pound, however you want to look at it. I don't care. He's one of the toughest players in the NFL, period, point blank. So it's hard to prepare for him. He's tough, then he's talented. With his quickness, his speed, the ability to block in the run game. There's so much to prepare for. How many wide receivers do you talk about being a point of attack blocker in the run game? That's what you're dealing with. He's a point of attack blocker as a wide receiver, and he's the number one targeted guy. So, yeah, it's a challenge. That's why, I'm a little bit out of breath. I was running down here. I almost forgot about this because I was working, and I didn't want Sydney to have missed it. We're going to do everything in the game plan to limit him. But you watch the tape, and plenty of people double him, and he still catches the ball, so it doesn't matter. He's a good player. You're talking about one of the best receivers in this league over the last 10, 11 years. This is his 11th year because he came in the same year as me. He's tough, he's talented, and he's going to keep coming at you, period. So whatever we do, we got to be ready for it to do it for 60 minutes or 70, who knows.
I know it's all one game, Patrick. You're not ready to anoint anyone. But do you look at what Sealer did and say, maybe we found something?
The thing with him, you saw it on the tape, he plays with his hands in front of his eyes. I mean, I know it's small stuff and I'm coach speak, but this is how I talk. I'll be talking like this at Christmas with my brother. It's the same thing. I just hands in front of your eyes. I keep it simple. That's what he does. And because he was able to get his hands on the blockers and use his length, he was able to make plays. And especially this time of year, December, when you're months away from training camp. Who's working on the fundamentals? Who's working on their pad level? Hands in front of. That's where you start to see the play in terms of guys getting better as the year progresses. The guys are able to focus on the fundamentals. So that's why we preach it so much. That's why we focus on it every day.
In some sense, what does Tarkle Charlton need to do to improve?
Tackle's been working. He's been working hard, and Tackle's just got to keep working hard. Keep working hard, working on his technique fundamentals, just like everybody else, just like me. That's what I do. Granted, thank God I'm not doing it on the field, but I work on my fundamentals in terms of coaching and just working hard every day. That's what everybody's got to do.
Why has Taco? I know he had the ankle injury last week, but since the first time he was inactive to now, what has he done to kind of show you guys maybe that he deserves to play, or maybe he doesn't?
Well, we based on who plays and all that stuff based on game plan. So, thing is, Tackle's working hard. That's what we ask him to do. And then based on game plan, we make a decision on that.
You'll have one more left. What have you thought about this year for you as a play caller, DC's first time? What have you learned and what have you kind of gathered throughout the year?
It's hard for me in the moment right now. I'm really just worried about New England. But I'll tell you this is what I do in terms of coaching, being a father, being a husband. I just try to get better every day. So I'm never satisfied, and thankfully I got people around me that challenge me to get better every day. So there's a laundry list of stuff, but right now I'm trying to be better at preparing for New England to take care of the run game, see if we could help stop Michelle, see if we could affect Tom in the passing game, see how we could, limit Julian in the passing game and the other weapons they have. But my whole goal is always to get better every day at everything I do. And I learned that a long time ago, and that's helped me get to where I'm at now. So, I can't think too far back ahead, whatever it is, but I try to get better every day. I can promise you that. That's what I try. Whether it happens or not, but I do try.
Some things that you've done to do that, to try to get better.
I throw work at it, effort at it. I just, watch more tape, talk to more people, get insight, listen. Let's start there. I listen. And that was not always the case like that when I was younger as a coach. I can tell you that. I listen. I've learned that, you learn a lot more by listening as opposed to waiting to talk. I used to be one of those guys. I used to wait to talk all the time. Now I listen, even if it's uncomfortable. So that's the number one thing that's changed in my life, not necessarily this year, but over the last few years. I've learned to listen more as opposed to wait to talk. So I've been able to grow, and that helps me. Especially right now. There's, going through this year and working through it, but learning how to listen.
Players, listening to other coaches.
Listen, you can learn from everybody. Listen from other coaches, listen from players. But I've learned to listen. Even listen to assistant coaches when we're going through the game plan. Just, if I had this job a few years ago, it wouldn't have been this way, But able to sit there as we go through New England and talk about Julian and talk about Tom and talk about all the players that have the offensive line, we're able to sit there and listen instead of waiting to talk, gather information, make the right decision as a leader. That's what I've learned.
You have a better idea of the type of players who are a fit for what your scheme and what you wanted to look at are at this point.
See, the beauty of it is real simple, right? Tough, smart, disciplined. Play with their hands, tackle, and tough. That's probably the same thing I said in April or whenever I first talked to you guys. So, yeah, I got an idea. If you have vision, that's what we talk about. We have vision. Vision is long term, in my opinion. So we have vision. So the vision is for us to accumulate players like that, and then help players grow in those fields, and those are characteristics, however you want to look at it. But that's the vision, And thankfully we got a head coach who laid out the vision pretty cleanly in terms of, okay, we need tough, smart football players who are disciplined, love to play the game. All right, and then when you get into the physical traits, play with good knee bend, football position, hands in front of their eyes, tackle, toughness. Contributing kicking game on the coverage units. Stop the run when we know when we need to stop the run. That's what we're looking for.
I wanted
What
to
did
ask
you-
about one specific play so I can try to learn something from the last game. I was curious and I rewatched it.
Yep.
The last play of regulation, when the tight end sort of boxed out 4 guys in the end zone. I don't know the answer to this, if you can help me learn. And I know that on the last play, it's usually chaos on the long Hail Mary type. Is there something that a player, not one player, just a player, those guys in that situation could have done differently or better? Is one guy supposed to get in front of each player, or is it really just, what's the coaching point there?
The coaching point, the main thing is I got to do a better job of coaching the situation and what we want to execute. Because that's the main thing. That's as simple as I can put it. I mean, again, there's different ways to skin a cat, how people want to play that play, but I could do a better job of coaching it. That's what I would leave you with on that one. Sorry.
Yeah, I feel like they never called pass interference on that play, so maybe that's an opportunity where defensive backs would be more aggressive than general.
So you do know more about the play than you're letting on.
So hey,
I can coach it
aggressive
better.
in that situation.
I can coach it better. That's my point. Sorry, I don't know how to answer. I mean, that's what I do know how to answer. That's how I'm going to answer it. Sorry, if that makes sense.
That's what Tay Hay showed you in extended work on Sunday.
I mean, the effort, ability to tackle. I mean, for a guy that has been here a long time. I mean, and then just able to go out there and execute the game plan, which was key. So it was good. It was good. And obviously we got a lot more to go, and we got a big challenge this week. I mean, a big challenge this week, based on the people, based on the scheme, based on everything. So we're gonna have to be able to tackle. We're gonna have to be able to play our leverage and coverage and compete on special teams, and hopefully we'll give ourselves a chance for Sunday.
Actually, I would ask you the same type of question regarding Calvin Munson. What did you see from him?
I mean, I hate to do it to you guys, but he's smart. There you go, tough, disciplined. He tackled, and he competed on special teams. That's what I saw. But we're going to need that this week because, you're dealing with one of the best special teams units in the league. With the Patriots, they're disciplined. They attack your weaknesses or your strengths. I mean, they do a good job there. And then, we're going to need his tackling in the run game, block destruction in the run game, coverage. Tom is one of the best at working guys, zone defenders, man defenders. I mean, so big challenge. So hopefully all that stuff shows up again on Sunday.
Christian Wilkins earlier. A lot of times people who aren't in the trenches may only see the sacks and the tackle loss, but how would you evaluate his rookie season and what you've seen from him?
I hate to do it to you, but the improving with his hands. That's the only thing I've been coaching him on. You can ask him. That's all I talk to him about. Get your hands right. Because then that leads to being a more successful football player, especially up front. So, but it carries over for every position. Use your hands.
What do you think about
And running out onto the field every time the team scores a touchdown.
I like his excitement. I'm pretty stoic, I guess, or I don't know if it's stoic. I'm just usually just not in a good mood. So no matter what happens, but it's good. It's good energy. That's another thing, listen, let people be who they are. That's not me, which is fine, and that's him. And I love it. And I've grown more comfortable with that as I've probably once I got married, had kids. I realized that you can't control everything. Relax. So if that makes sense. All right.
Merry Christmas.
All right. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Appreciate it.
Merry Christmas.